Hey, what's up, guys? This is Richie from JailBreak Overlander. Welcome back to another first look video. Now, if you follow the channel, 3 weeks ago I just put up an Alucab Expedition 3 video, and I said that it was my 4th rooftop tent, and it was the last rooftop tent that I would ever own. Well, that was until I went to Overland Expo East and found the guys from Bush Company. They have a tent that I would call the Alucab Killer. We're going to have a first look at this tent. We're going to talk to Matt and Dean. Dean came up with the tent, and Matt did all the testing in the bush. This tent is serious, and in my opinion, it's the tent that Alucab should have made in the first place. So let's take a look. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Richie from JailBreak Overlander. Welcome back to another episode. I am once again at Overland Expo, and everyone just saw the video I put up about the last rooftop tent ever. My Alucab Expedition 3. I love this thing. It's great. That's all out the window. It's all the fault of Matt and the guys at the Bush Company from Australia. You've seen this. This tent looks incredibly similar to the Expedition 3, except it looks like somebody gave me an unlimited bank account and skills and said, fix the Expedition 3. No offense, Alucab, it's a sweet tent, but I will be swapping in a Bush Company tent because this thing is sick, and Matt spent a lot of time in this. Matt, well, introduce yourself. Yep. You're on YouTube and Instagram as well,
correct? Yeah, correct. So basically, quick rundown of myself. I run a channel called Explore 4x4. Basically, we trip around Australia, showing off cool locations and just have a good time with our mates.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And all that experience you put into this tent, because we're at Expo, it just started raining now, and we're under this really, really nice 270 Batwing.
Yep.
And this is actually priced. What does this cost? What is this going to?
$14.50.
Which is ridiculously low. There's no legs. This thing is holding up beautifully. It deploys perfectly, and it works perfectly. What is the name of this tent?
This is the Alpha.
The Alpha.
Yep.
Now, you had a lot of input into this. This tent seems to be. It seems to be I don't even know. To tell you the truth. You can tell somebody lived out of this. As soon as I saw this, I noticed that you guys incorporated the awning in the back that everybody else gives you.
Yep.
But you also covered the side windows.
Yeah, correct. That's something that that's sort of just for the Bush Company. I was running Dean's Black Series tent, so I lived out of that. Spent about 4 months living out of it, and the best thing about Dean from the Bush Company is he takes on all those little bits and pieces of advice that his customers give back to him, and he basically put them all into the Alpha. So every sort of little small feature that, you know, when you're out there and you're like, geez, I'd like to have this, we decided, you know, I basically wrote those things down and then gave the feedback to Dean, and they're all in the Alpha.
So it rained here. It's raining here right now, and it rained last night. On my Alucab, I had the sides open, and in the middle of the night, I had to wake up and close them.
Yep.
Because it doesn't have this. And like I said, I'm not knocking the Alucab, but this tent.
Definitely. So, like, it's always pretty bloody hot back in Australia, so you'll just have your windows done up half if it's raining, and you still get that nice airflow all the way through. The front one, obviously, you can leave it completely open and just have your fly, because you got the massive rain fly over the top here. Yeah.
And I loved it, because when I met you yesterday, this is great, but what happens when the wind catches?
Correct.
This is like a parachute.
I think they will be in here. So and that's just inevitable. You're gonna get high wind. So Dean's just put these little storm clips on as such, and essentially you just hook them on there. You can do it from inside the tent while it's raining. So you can just reach out, put one on there, another one goes on this side.
It's brilliant.
And then you're always going to be in a situation where it's just out of control. The big storms come through, it's extremely windy. So on the side of the tent here, you've just got one nice easy clip. So you essentially undo this on both sides, and the whole awning will just slide out of a bit of sea channel that's up top. So fully removable for when it is too windy, or right now, let's say this gets even wetter. The good thing is the canvas of the main tent stays dry because of the big fly. So if we were going to pack this up now and drive home and it was going to be stored and we weren't able to air it out, we could just remove the awning, pack it all away, and then you don't have any of your mold issues or moisture issues.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Now on the inside, I noticed that you've got 12 volt and probably 24 for the guys overseas.
Yeah.
But you've got two of them, one
Correct.
on either side, and they're also incredibly easy to access.
Yeah, well, the idea is that I shared this one with my missus for eight weeks on the road on our last big trip. So you kind of have a his and hers side. That way you can both charge your phones. I've got my pockets for my things on one side. She's got her pockets. Comes with 2 USB ports, 1 cigarette port, and then a Anderson plug as well. So if anything, it's probably slightly over the top, but at least you've got it.
It's there. It's
Yep.
there. And the other thing, and again, I'm not knocking Alucab. I'm just noticing somebody updated it, because Alucab uses the 12 volt box. They put it down here, and the mattress is actually short,
Yep.
which leaves a weird gap
Yeah,
inside
correct.
the tent where my folding knife always ends up, my nail clippers, my flashlight, change, etc., etc.
Well, I've just so everyone who's watching, I don't actually work for the Bush Company,
Right.
just so they're
Right,
aware.
but
So
you had a lot of input.
I actually had an Alucab set up previously, so I've had a few different rooftop tents, which was another benefit, I guess, is I was able to take some of the good features from a lot of different tents over the last 10 years that I've been doing it, and it's all sort of come into this. Even something small like this internal pocket here is for your water bottle.
Right.
So
Review on the Alucab, I spent 55 days in it.
Yep.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, the desert in the middle of the summertime, which is burning hot.
Yep.
And then I did the review. Every one of these things makes perfect sense. You can tell somebody lived out of this and somebody
Correct.
designed it around that.
I think the other major feature to probably point out is it's a true double skin canvas. So there is 2 layers of canvas running the whole way around the tent. It's got a reflective coating on the inside.
I didn't even notice that.
Well, there you go.
yesterday, man.
So for the hot climates, it's going to hit the first layer of canvas, and it'll keep the tent a lot cooler. And then vice versa, when it's freezing cold, it'll keep that heat in because you got the double layer of canvas.
Well played.
Yeah.
Man. Well played.
So we, one thing I wanted the tent a lot lighter, and Dean managed to make it lighter. Essentially, we put the weight back on with the double skin canvas, but at the end of the day, I think it was worth it.
Now, I already asked Dean. He said that if something were to happen to the ripstop fabric,
Yep.
he can send it right back. You can.
Fully replaceable. You can essentially
phenomenal.
unvelcro the whole entire canvas tent and replace it. So,
That's phenomenal.
if there's the campfire ember comes up and burns a hole in it, or it gets ripped for whatever
Right.
reason, at least it is replaceable.
I love the way they machine slots in the side, so
Yeah.
you can add a ladder without having to actually bolt it there permanently. Correct.
Correct. Yeah. So every tent comes with 2 of the mounting brackets. So you've got one on the rear, and you can put one on whatever side you might be using it, just for a bit of extra versatility. This is one of the main features on the tent, the fact that it's got the extrusion rails the whole way around.
All the way around.
So that allowed us to do all our own bracketries, all our hinges on the front are our own, and everything just bolts in. So you'll never have to drill a hole in this tent. On the other tent you might have got some B-roll there of it, but your shovel holders can go straight on. We have Max Trax holders, so you can mount your Max Trax on the side. Your high lift jack can go on the side. The idea of the tent is it's versatile and the strength in it, so you can load it up.
the lift arms inside the tent was a good idea.
Yep.
And yesterday you explained to me why it wasn't, and it made perfect sense.
Yeah, I also thought that having them on the inside was a good idea, and I thought, you know, if they're on the outside, they might be more easier to damage. Now look, once again, Alucab is a great product and I loved my tent, but I do a lot of beach work, so a lot of salty air, and having the struts on the inside, the tent's always going to hold a little bit of moisture.
Right.
And basically what happened was the struts rusted, and then as you go to open it, bang, they break, and then essentially your tent's null and void, right? So having them on the outside allows them to breathe and actually air and dry out. And then, you know, if there is any rust forming, you know, at least it's visual and you can see it.
Because it's not out of sight, out of mind. You
Correct.
Can see it.
And the other benefit is then you can also push your mattress right out. So you get more room inside. Now the biggest question will be like, will they get damaged? I've driven through a lot of heavy scrub, never been an issue, and then the other side's fully protected by your awning.
Plus, a lot of companies make them like this, and it's not something you hear about, these things getting damaged. I'm notorious for ripping off solar panel wires, etc., OTR antennas, but it's a good idea because it didn't even dawn on me that having them inside the tent, you could sit there and rust. I had an issue with lift gates like I was telling you.
Yeah, that's right.
The other thing I noticed is it's much larger inside because they didn't angle the tent. It goes straight out.
Yeah, correct.
You told me the lift capacity of this yesterday.
You can still have between 100 and 150 pound on top and it'll still open up. Is that what you're referring to? Yeah. I mean, when this is down, you can put 400 pounds on top of it and use it as a roof rack.
No, it's definitely...
It's built to take it.
It's a tank.
Yeah. What?
Alucab, I'm not, again, we have to keep saying this like a disclaimer, but Alucab has the rails to mount it going front to back. These go side to side, which will give you a zillion more mounting options.
Yeah, basically the idea is that it can go onto any of your main platforms, Pioneer, Sherpa, whatever it might be.
There's already a couple of us trying to figure out a way to mount this directly to the truck without a roof rack to negate the additional weight.
Yes, okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So get rid of the rack, because once this is on the rack's useless now, basically.
Potentially you can run 4 feet in your gutter mounts and put this straight on.
Right. I'm going to do 6, but I'm going to have somebody make them or something.
Yeah, correct.
That's
that'll work.
And the weight on this one, it's
190 pounds.
190, so it's the same as the Stealth. It's the same as several hard shell campers.
Yeah.
And like I said, there has to be a way to mount these directly to the truck. Get rid of the 100 or 90 pounds that the roof rack's going to be.
Yeah, well, the way...
We figured out a way to mount this with just the bottom section of a leg straight to the gutter mount. So you would not even need a roof rack because the tent itself would take up the entire roof rack. And the way this tent is set up, you can mount all your accessories straight to the rooftop tent. It's perfect. Matt got grabbed away from me by some other customers. So I ended up wrapping this up with the guy that actually made the tent himself, a guy from South Africa named Dean. He owns the bushcompany.net, and he was really happy to show me the tent.
Start in life was basically I grew up in South Africa, so it's the African bush that I was used to, going outdoors. Rooftop tents, obviously getting you out of the way of the lions and the other animals around. But the biggest thing with a rooftopper is the ease of setup and being able to move from one spot to another in the fastest possible time. So I focus on building really strong quality products, really pay special attention to my canvas work as well, which is basically the heart of it, and a lot of aluminium work. So, you know, the rails, designing products that is going to be lasting for 10, 15 years easily. And yeah, that's basically it. So living in Australia now, it's great. I get to experience both sides of the world. South Africa, Botswana, and as well as Australia, and do a lot of touring. And all the products that I build is because I personally test and work the stuff. So I love camping, I love touring, I love overlanding. It's all about just getting outdoors. So yeah, man.
It's well done. You took what was a really well designed tent and then just refined it basically.
Yeah, that's
Seriously.
right. So we've had our Black Series tent has been out for years, and it's always been our major tent line. The Alpha is our latest edition, basically. So doing the things that we still offer in the Black Series, but lifting it up to the next level, and yeah, hopefully adding some cool features that you know people will love.
Well, here's something we're already working on. Two of us that have Land Cruisers is getting rid of the roof rack
Yeah,
and fastening this to the truck to negate the extra little bit of weight.
absolutely.
Because you've got dual canvas on there. Nobody else has that.
Yeah, we've got the dual canvas is perfect, especially for, we look at it from heat conditions, camping in the summertime. It's got that air pocket in to give that, but then again in the cool, it's going to help tremendously for your, condensation and your heat loading.
Well, this is definitely going to sell because it's priced right and it's built like a tank.
Yeah,
It's
good
amazing.
stuff.
It's just, for me, it's ironic that I just made a video saying it was the last tent. As soon as I rolled into the parking lot, he's like, dude,
That's
it's
cool.
not your last tent. This
Well,
is
I'm
gonna-
glad you came down to see
we're
us,
here,
bud.
we're here. This is going to blow up.
Lovely.
Bush Company, and it's the bushcompany.com.
That's it.
bushcompany.com. All the links will be in the description. These guys really live the life. This and it shows in the product. Nothing here is arbitrary. Everything is very specific and it's well done. So
Thanks, man.
I can't wait to take delivery of mine. All right, guys. Richie from JailBreak, Dean from the Bush Company. Matt is tied up. We are out. So in conclusion, all the links will be in the description. The links to Matt's YouTube channel, the links to Matt's Instagram, the links to the Bush Company themselves. This tent, the Alucab Expedition 3, is a tank of a tent. It's incredibly well built. This tent costs less. This tent weighs a little bit more, but it has everything that Alucab didn't do. Just the small things, and it makes it head and shoulders a much better rooftop tent, in my opinion. I've owned 4 rooftop tents. I've done 150,000 miles of overlanding in the last 2 years. So when I say this, I speak with a bit of authority. I break stuff, and everybody knows that. Do you see what I'm saying? The Bush Company, these guys live this, they love this, and it shows. There's just no two ways about it. If you liked what you saw, if you liked what you heard, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. I am out.